Yeah, so I was just testing to see if you guys could hear me. Thanks, Mitchell. How's it going? Hey, Mitchell. So the email address is build the number 4 ever the number 2 and then at gmail.com. Hopefully you can hear me now. Thank God you were here. I never would have realized my mic was off. So for those who are new to the channel, my name is Potter. I am a former retired cybersecurity professional, web developer. I worked with Time Warner as a developer and a system admin for international programs. It included systems of Windows, operating systems, back to the day of NT, as well as Unix and Linux. I moved from there to become a cybersecurity person. We rolled out the first policies for Time Warner due to the SOC regulations. I went from there to consulting firm Accenture, where I worked as an information systems security officer, where I chaired a board of ISOs for NOAA, the Census Bureau, the Department of Commerce, and the Census Bureau, and NIST, the people who write all the security rules. So we're supposed to talk about NFTs today, so I'll just get right into it. Oh, you're welcome. I responded to your comments as well in one of the posts from like 3 weeks ago with my tag for Instagram and Twitter. So a lot of people are wondering, like, what is an NFT? I just hear, there's pictures of monkeys, and people were looking at them like art instead of looking at them like this crypto asset that can provide some level of assurance that you are who you say you are. And the reason that it can do that is because it's a non-fungible token. It's tied specifically to your wallet address. So there's a lot that you have to go through to get that wallet address. God, it's so warm in here. There's a lot that you have to go through to get that web address. And so one of the things that's starting to happen, I believe, is that you're going to see these NFTs not only tied to games, but tied to identification at the corporate level. What you can do with these NFTs, and by the way, Mitchell, if you have any questions, you might be solo today. What these NFTs can allow for is a way to attract non-techie people to take a look at something and hold it as a source of value. So I think that, imagine you get hired at a company and they have to set up your wallet. They should always control the keys so that they can shut you down at any time or revoke you. But they can give you something that's sparkly or shiny that's specifically tied to the firm or tied to you. That can give you access to computer rooms. It can give you access to your computer. The thing that has to happen before that happens, though, is you have to have kind of almost blockchain operating systems. And the reason why that's challenging is, for example, with AI, Andre Cronje from the Phantom, he's the leader of the Phantom blockchain. He's saying, be leery of people who are telling you about artificial intelligence and blockchain, because the amount of data that it takes to process a neural net, that's a lot of data. It's a lot of space, and it's not easily done. So I kind of goofed this up because Cole's not here. But one of the things that we're starting to see in what's known as the drip community is you're starting to see that people are putting projects together. And what they're doing is they're making NFTs of influencers for drip. And so that's interesting because it's a way of showing that people are starting to change their minds about what exactly an NFT is. Why is it important? Why should I have it? Now in games, what you're starting to see in the GameFi world is that your NFT is like your character or a series of characters. And then you have turn-based action games where your characters can fight against each other. So it's really evolving quicker in the retail space than it is in the professional space. So that's kind of it without any questions. This might be a short video today. But the other things that I did want to talk about were Seigniorage projects. And you're starting to see those take on life too. Specifically, I think, Mitchell, it was you who told me about Droplet, right? I'm going to talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. But Seigniorage project, the first initial great one was launched on the Phantom Network. It was called Tomb. And they went through a hack and a multi-millionaire investment. He's not an investment banker, but he's definitely an investment capitalist. He brought in like 30 million of capital during the bull market, and it was riding. It would print, it would maintain itself. But the thing with the Seigniorage project, you can kind of lump this in with blockchain as well. We've seen it with Bitcoin, AVAX, Ethereum. You need some level of care. You have to have not only new capital, but you have to have people who are going to support the project. Now, when you have a tool like Droplet, there are motivated people who are looking to take their assets and use them for something that will gain them more power, control, or money. Let's be serious. People want money, and that you have to have motivated people. So in Tomb, what was there not to be motivated about? You had this, heavy investment banker, and I'm not in Tomb anymore, but not because I don't want to be, as much as they're moving to a protocol that's not on Phantom anymore, and they're doing things that are not allowed in the US. And I'm not getting on a VPN to pretend like I'm somebody I'm not, just for some, temporary money. Exactly, Mitchell. Same as Tomb, where a lid is pegged to something. Right, and maintaining that peg is always the hardest part. But while it's over peg, there was a Seigniorage rush right after. There were these things called miners where you stake a token, and as other people come in, it's like your pension programs for the city or Social Security. These things depend on new people coming in to fund those who contributed prior. There he is. Hey, Cole. Sorry about that. I didn't put up the banner. I had it as unlisted because I was testing stuff last night. And Mitchell says, howdy. So, Cole, I need you to ask questions because I already went through the NFT part. I was like, boy, this is going to be a quick stream. Cole's not here. So what I explained, well, you can go back and look. I don't want to make people who are watching this later pay for that. But what you're starting to see with when they had this big rush of Seigniorage projects after the miner rush, you had all of these Seigniorage projects going up, but it's just so hard to maintain peg without having people motivated or understanding what you're trying to do. Now, I've only put a couple $100 into Droplet and I wanted to move over more, but they're saying things like, they were burning drip. They burned 35,000 drip, as a matter of fact, and it looked like it was going, but apparently it affected the lit price. So I think it was because we talked about this before. When you have a lot of liquidity, if you have too much of anything, then people aren't going to want, it's not going to be as valuable. They can get it anywhere. So they're trying to use lit, the token, to go into real estate, which is pretty interesting. Mitchell says, I've seen these projects before that will drop below peg and people lose interest. Yeah, unless there's some people who play it because they want it to lose peg, because then they can buy bond. But generally what I've seen with everyone, when it loses that peg, it's hard to stay. And since you have that long epoch, period, when people are really afraid, they just wait there for that epoch to expire, and they take out everything. But it is, you have custody. You don't have custody sometimes if you claim for X amount of hours, but it's locked. But you have custody of your own token, your own token pair. There are multiple ways that you can invest in it. It's just like Tomb. And I'm excited about it as long as they stay on course. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in depth tomorrow. But I kind of wanted to introduce you guys to the Seigniorage idea, so that when I'm talking about it tomorrow, I can say go back and take a look at that to understand what it's talking about. Has Droplet slowed down? No. Last week it was in the 600s. GDS was in the 600s. To this week it's 700 and something. I mean, the past few hours, I should say. Mitchell says 4% interest a day at the minute. Yep. Cole said 4% sounds really good. Was it a lot more before? No, it's the way that they're setting it up. And it's too new, Like, we know that you want things to be around for a year these days, Getting into something new is just, kind of like, goodbye money. So that's why I refuse to go crazy. But, like Animal Farm, I've been turning things over. And we're going to talk about a lot more about that tomorrow. Like, I don't want to get into it, but Steve Jobs had to be slapped around to say, stop giving people what you want and give them what they want. And I think the community is saying, fix drip, save drip. And he just wants Animal Farm. Count Basie, no, not Count Basie. Duke Ellington, he's a famous jazz person back in the 30s, 1830s, 1930s. He loved creating orchestras and symphonies, but nobody wanted to hear that. They wanted to hear his jazz. So, maybe Forex needs that. Mitchell says, can't remember, but it's been a decent APR for a while. True. Cole says, I haven't been on it really. Do you guys look at it as something sustainable and worth digging into? I have that theory, and oh God, I forgot to say this. You guys know where I'm going. I don't give financial advice here. We just talk about things that I'm in. We're talking about the path. The co-host, Matt, he'll be back. We just talk about our ideas. So in alignment with Cole's question, anything that I say is just an opinion, and it's not of a professional who does this for a living. I'm not licensed to giving advice. Okay, I can push a button now and go back to comments. So is it worth digging into? Like I said, it's doing what it's supposed to, and because I've been in so many Seigniorage projects, I know when to get in and I know when to get out. For my risk profile, for my risk tolerance, I know that. So Mitchell said they have a bot that sells when over peg and buys under peg. Huh. That's interesting. I did read about their arbitrage bot, but it's not anything that people haven't done before. When you have a rush on people getting their greed on or thinking, hey, I'm about to lose money, or big bags who understand and have the tools, the analytics to get ahead of everything, a Seigniorage project is over. It doesn't matter how good the idea is. So, but I just think that there's so much good chi around all of this, because it's really what we want. We wanted something that is going to help with drip, and Make money and help drip? Okay. But like I said, that's tomorrow. Drip conversations are for tomorrow. Cold said, the account is timeless. Great reference. Mitchell says, I'm not gonna bother with it, but would like to see it work as benefits to drip. Yeah, well, initially I went in with like $25 and I was like, and so I went into one because I have custody of it. So for my risk profile, for my risk tolerance, this is something that I can easily work with. I'm very comfortable with it, and it's made me more than like trunk or stampede. So it's competing with there, and I know, but it's new. So within the first 30 days of these projects, it's like, yay! But we'll see how they do with keeping their users engaged. If you take a look at their Telegram group, these guys, this isn't just your normal group of devs. They seem to have some backing. There seems to be some level of intelligence based on my due diligence that illustrates that this might not be a fly in the pan. So while it's producing, I might as well make something. That's the way I'm looking at it, but I'm not going to ape in or anything. Cole says, forgive me if this is a silly comparison, but wasn't there a huge crypto that was supposedly pegged to the US dollar that blew up fairly recently? Does this bot fix the potential problem with pegging? Not necessarily. The peg always depends on people and whether they see interest, and the Seigniorage project is completely based off of that. To say, do you believe in the system? Do you believe what they're doing? If yes, then keep the system going. Let's grow it. Tomb, despite its, falling down, getting back up, it's still alive and well on the Phantom network, and they're growing bigger. And this project has been able to learn from them. So it's not as much about the peg as it's about the participation. Mitchell said, there probably was. I was in bomb money. They were pegged to Bitcoin. I never went. I saw them. I was like, that's kind of interesting. But who expected it to drop that much, It just didn't make sense for me. It made sense as a good idea, but there was no, my hair is just getting in my face. There was no greater motivation to do it other than, I'll earn Bitcoin. I think that these guys have a different perspective, and they understand that they're working with a community that has, they're pretty loyal, So sorry, I'm not picking my nose. Understood. Thanks for clarifying the peg idea, Potter. Yeah, I mean, if you go at it, if you look at it from the data science aspect of it, it's what you said. It is about trying to maintain a peg, but the motivation has to be aligned to the greater good of the project and the structure of the project. Most retail investors are only going to look for, is it making money today or is it not making money today? Win moon. Sinful decked. Oh, jeez. Why did I even put that up there? I really should read those. That was on Twitch. Speaking of bots, if you say things on Twitch, they will cause your stream to get infested by certain bots that just keep saying things. So sorry about that. So guys, there's not a lot to really cover other than the NFTs. Cole, do you have another question about NFTs? Because that's why I called it AMA, but then I forgot to list it, so you wouldn't be here. Oh, I know what I'll do. I am the most unofficial channel. Like, one of the things that I hear people saying a lot, though, when I watch live streams is the hosts. They're always like, "Oh, why do I even do this? I'm horrible," because there's so many things you got to do. It's just challenging to get it all. But I hope uh, uh, this gave some level of information to the solid. We're averaging well over 12 now, and a dozen folks. I really appreciate you all checking in every week. Hope we're providing, a level of value. I hope you're enjoying Cole and Mitchell as much as I do. And, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back. What do you think, Matt? Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow for the drip news. Forex is saying it's going to do an AMA where 90% are going to be questions, but we'll see. But I do thank you guys. And Cole, you haven't said anything, so I'm going to take that as a no, I'm good. And see you guys. I'm doing it. That's right. I will see you guys first thing tomorrow. Okay. Cheers. You guys are killing it. As always, looking forward to Taker and AMA. Thanks. Talk about that tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to use this new end button thing I got here. So if you stick around for that, you're awesome. All right, cheers. Oh, it makes me hit another button. Game on.